Well, we have a new improved tower. It's very tall, and you get a panoramic view of all the wildlife that shows up out here.
You're not only going to see elk here. I think we've seen bear here. Is
Yes,
that
we
right?
have.
And
deer, lots of deer and turkeys and bear. 16,000 people a year visit here. I mean, we would have never dreamed that we would have that kind of participation, but we do. This is a wonderful place to bring your kids to show wildlife off as it truly is. Bring your binoculars, come of an evening so that you have a high probability of viewing opportunities, and, get your kids outside.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks for watching, for listening. We are back at the Elk Tower here at Hatfield Knob. This is just the place to be, Matt. I appreciate you helping co-host and bring these shows to folks here in East Tennessee. We don't get out this way enough, but this is great.
Pleasure is all mine.
This tower is brand new, but the tower's been here a while and the property and been here for elk viewing. But we're going to dive deep into the Elk Tower today.
The new and improved Elk Tower.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm excited to have Terry Lewis and Jane Lewis with us today. Folks who were very instrumental in having this property here, getting this tower going.
Their name is on the sign, if that tells you anything.
It is. We'll make sure Todd cuts to a picture right now of the sign, and we'll show that off. And I bet it's a blessing and amazing to have something named after you. I know it is, and we're excited just to chat about it today. And we'll get it kicked off here. Terry and Jane. Terry, kind of introduce yourself, share with folks who you are and kind of some of the groups you're involved with, and then we'll jump into how all this got started.
Well, I guess my name's Terry Lewis.
Yeah.
And we've lived our farm here for the past 29, 30 years. We've got a rather large piece of tract of land over here that we like to farm for wildlife.
Yeah.
And so that's just what we do. We're outdoors people. We're conservationists. I'm the president of the Campbell Outdoor Recreation Association since 2006. I'm a longtime board member of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lifetime member of the RMEF, vice president of the NWTF Pine Mountain chapter of the Wild Turkey Federation.
Wow.
So we do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
We wear a lot of hats, and we put on several events. We have youth hunts. We have Wounded Warrior handicap hunts for turkeys on our farm. So, we're well steeped in the conservation.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It's a few credentials there that I wasn't familiar with. So that's awesome. You got your hats in a lot of pots, or is that how you say that?
Hands
in a lot of pots or whatever. But that's awesome. And so we'll fast forward to just a few months ago when this tower was dedicated to you guys and the new tower was put into place. Tell us about what is here right now. So if folks want to come out and check it out, let's talk about what's here now, and then we'll kind of jump back to the history and how it all came together.
Sure. Well, we have a new improved tower. From the original tower was made out of wood, and this one's made out of steel and concrete. So it's very safe and it's very tall, and you get a panoramic view of all the wildlife that shows up out here. And we've tried hard to create a high probability of viewing opportunities so the public makes the walk from the parking lot to the tower. There's a high probability they'll see some wildlife. But you got to come when the wildlife are here. This is not a zoo. This is wildlife. This is real wildlife.
Good point.
Yeah, there's no fences here, no high fences.
You can't come at noon and expect to see what you'll see at hour before dark. And people need to realize that.
Yeah.
And come early morning, very early morning, or come just before dark. Hour and a half before dark is the best time.
Gotcha. Well, it is handicap accessible now.
It is.
The bottom section of the tower is a nice concrete ramp there now where people can just roll up in there or whatever, make it easier to walk in, and that's awesome to see up here. And I know there's future opportunities to have the whole road accessible maybe one day.
Actually, phase 2 of our program, our plan, if you will, is to have an asphalt wheelchair ramp from the parking lot to the tower, and make it ADA compliant, which means it'll have an incline and a resting area, and an incline resting area over 800 yards. So that will not be cheap, but but if you've ever tried to push a wheelchair into gravel, you understand what these folks are up against, and there's a tremendous amount of those folks that can't get here simply because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. You want as many people to see it as you can, especially this time of year in October, early November. It's a good time to be up here and see the colors and see the wildlife. You're not only going to see elk here, you're going to see, I think we've seen bear here. Is that right? And
deer, lots of deer and turkeys and bear. 16,000 people a year visit here. Study done by the University of Tennessee, paid for, have them come out here and count folks.
Yeah.
So 16,000 people we would have never dreamed that, we would have that kind of participation, but we do.
And with these new improvements and all the upgrades, I'm sure there'll be more. I'm sure that number's going to rise pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Talk about that just a second. Campbell County is well known for its outdoor recreation in general. What other things bring people here to Campbell County?
Oh, off-highway vehicle riding is the primary thing that a lot of our visitors come to participate in. We've got some of the best riding east of the Mississippi right here. And of course hunting.
Yeah.
I think those are the lakes. We have a massive amount of water here, and we see a lot of folks come for all different states to participate in our lakes and land and waters.
Really blessed with him. I know the mayor, he's big on outdoor recreation here, and it's a unique county because there's just so much emphasis put on outdoor recreation, and you being the president of TWRA, it's just outstanding.
Yes, it is, and we really like living here. We love it here.
Yeah.
Now, how did you acquire the farm nearby?
30 years ago, we, was looking for a place to camp and hunt, and we bought a big tract of land, and then we kept adding to it, and we're about 800 acres now, and it's adjacent to the WMA, so that helps us.
Yeah.
When you go out our back gates, you've got 200,000 acres.
Even more.
It's hard to beat that.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah. Well, you purchased this property and you start coming out here a lot, and you start, the elk were introduced, and you talked about a lawn chair visit out here a couple times, and before this happened, the Elk Tower came to be, y'all were out here sitting in lawn chairs watching elk. Tell that story.
Well, I can tell that story because it's near and dear to my heart.
One of Miss Jane's favorite stories too, I'd say.
The way we found this place was the university had two grad students, Jason Lapardis and Jason Kendall, who were looking for a mortality signal, and somebody told them to come see me that I might be able to help them get back in here because it was back in here. Back then we didn't have GPS. We had the antennas that you might or might not be able to find the direction. But anyhow, they showed up on our doorstep one day and explained the situation. I said, well, get in the Ranger and we'll go back there and see if we can figure this out. And we got back in here, and we found a dropped collar, luckily. And that was probably in late 2003, early 2003, because the first elk, there was only 11 elk released on this side of the interstate in 2003.
That's right. We always talk about the elk being released in 2000, first in reintroduction, but that was across the highway, right?
That's right. And the 11 we had here were 3 bulls, 5 cows, and 3 calves. And those all grew into the herd that you have here today, which is upwards of 75. I've seen 75 out here at one time.
Wow.
So, we found the drop collar, and I put some cameras out, big on cameras, and instantly determined that they really like to be here. For whatever reason, they like to be here. So I got with the agency, and I looked at the terrain and spent a lot of time over here fooling around with cameras and such, and it was really thick. I mean, it was really thick. And so I got with the WMA manager, and I said, hey, we need a food plot over there. And he said, this is so far from where we live on the other side of the highway, can't do it. But he let me do it because I got equipment. I got dozer and a tractor and planters and all that stuff for my own place.
So a partnership formed right there.
And they knew me.
Yeah.
I mean, the agency knew who I was. So they let me put a food plot right out here. And that's what we'd come out here. If we couldn't wait to get off work so we could come up here and sit in a metal chair and watch the elk out in the food plot that we just built. Yeah. So that was always fun. And, we would put tent blinds up and come back, and the elk have torn them down. So that was always funny too. But it took 3 years of weekends to clear this spot. 3 years.
Wow.
And we, some of the more notable things is we would put the tractor in the lowest gear that it has. It's got a front end loader on it, and we let it go down the field by itself with no driver, and we'd be out throwing rocks in the bucket. Volunteers would be throwing rocks in the bucket. We get it full, we dump it, come back and do it again till you're tired of picking up rocks.
I can imagine.
Wow.
So then, after 3 years of weekends, it was actually a couple years of weekends. In 2005 showed up. I went to the agency and said, look, there's a nice little hill right here. The wind's in your face, out of the west. The wind's in your face. Make a great place for a platform of some kind. And so we designed a platform, and the agency let us build it, paid for the materials out of our own pocket.
Wow.
They let us build it. I think there was 22 of us that showed up that day.
I was here.
You was here.
Young
That's
officer,
right.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see the picture. There's 14 of you guys.
A little bit. That was awesome.
That thing sprung up out of the ground like a mushroom. Looked like a Dollar General store coming right out of the ground.
That's some history I didn't know. So you were here on the first build. Well,
yeah, buddy.
This is great that you're here to do this show with us.
Very excited.
Yeah. So you being a contractor by trade, right?
Yeah.
You had the knowledge, and you were able to erect this thing. Is it a day that was up?
In one day, there was 14 TWRA people here, and the rest of us volunteers. We put the tower up in one day, and then I came back on Sunday, and we put the stairwell up to it. So it happened pretty quickly. I mean, it came out of nowhere.
Wow.
So, and it was instantly a hit.
That's awesome.
Instantly a hit.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, and that was constructed by wood, and like we mentioned earlier, this is a full metal construction now that should last for, years and years and years.
Oh, trust me, it'll be here long after we're gone.
But it's
Even a legacy.
Yeah, definitely. But it's great that we have this now in this form for people to come up here, and the grounds are looking great. And do y'all still help with that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, we just finished planting about 3 weeks ago. The agency has been wonderful to work with. I mean, just marvelous. I can't say enough good things about the WMA manager.
That's awesome.
Keith Thomas and Joe Elkins, and they've just been marvelous to work with.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Miss Jane, I know this is your pride and joy too. You enjoy to come out here and watch these elk and other wildlife out here. What's one of your favorite parts about this tower and to see it come alive like it has?
Well, we were glad that when it was finally done. It took several months to do it. And we were shocked. Shocked that they named it after us.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a complete surprise.
It was a complete surprise.
Wow.
I don't know how the cat wasn't let out of the bag.
I don't know how you kept it a secret, but you did.
Well,
the best kept secret I know of.
You've been a real blessing to the agency. When I first hired on, I thought you worked for the agency because they talk about Terry Lewis all the time at North Cumberland. I thought you're part of the North Cumberland crew. So that's just my perspective as a young officer, and I only saw you a few times, but I thought you all were part of the agency, but you are. Volunteered, but no telling how much time you put into this and your own personal resources and equipment. You probably never have sat down and figured up the math, but I'm sure it's been worth it.
We don't want to. It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We love the elk program. It's we were in the beginning. I'm the person that went to the commission and asked for the restoration program to begin. Probably didn't know that either.
Did not.
That was Paris Landing. 2000.
Yeah.
I think it was August of 2000, and then by December 19th of 2000, we put 50 elk on the ground in 14-degree weather with snow.
Well, that's a pretty quick turnaround then.
For those who have been there.
Wow.
So the pictures, they look pretty bitter.
And we promised the public that we would do certain things, and one of them was to provide them with a viewing opportunity. And so that's we just tried to fulfill that promise to the public.
I think that point was made. They could have kind of kept this for themselves and enjoyed it, locally, but they wanted more people to experience what they're passionate about, and here we are. So just want people to come and see it for themselves, and we have the elk camera now that came a few years ago. So if you can't make it up here, some people physically can't.
She watches it religiously.
Oh yeah.
She watches it.
I watch it, but now on weekends we don't have to come up here to see the elk because we've got them on us.
So they've made it onto your personal
They
property,
have.
huh?
They have.
We've had weekends where we've got 25 elk over there. Of course, I got 17 food plots too, so
Oh my goodness.
we're feeding them.
Yeah.
What's your number one food plot of choice to feed the elk?
Well, in our fall we do our cool season, which is oats and wheat, Austrian winter peas, and crimson clover, and we no-till that. And in the spring, I've historically planted soybeans, but we're moving more into a perennial situation with more clovers and that type of forage to cut down on the expense of maintaining. We've got 40 acres of clearing here and 25 acres of food plots, so it gets pretty expensive.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you're looking for something, get more miles out of your planting.
And we've had Dr. Craig Harper up here and he shared his knowledge with us, and the agency has worked with me to find a plan that works, and we've already implemented that plan. We've sprayed and we've planted, and we're gonna make a candy store if we can. We need to create that high probability of viewing opportunities for the public.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if we don't give the elk something that they really want to be here for.
They like to graze.
They do like to graze.
We just need some rain now to help things out.
Do a little rain dance for us.
Matt's the dancer.
Run all the viewers off.
Yeah. Well, so not only have you been instrumental in this, but Matt mentioned earlier you still hold a hunt on your property and for veterans, right?
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that hunt. That's just pretty cool.
We do a Wounded Warrior handicapped turkey hunt through the NWTF.
Okay.
And we've done it 18 years in a row. So we have we hold it to 26 handicapped guys, and you have to be truly handicapped. And we take them out and we put blinds up, put them in the blinds, and they are fairly successful. I mean, last year we killed 6 turkeys with guys in wheelchairs and guys with no arms and no legs.
Wow.
And we've been doing that for, like I said, 18 years. This will be our 19th year coming up.
Is it held completely on your farm?
No, we actually we can hunt about 13 on our farm, and then Ron Cunningham, which is a neighbor, has a large tract of land over near Habersham, between Habersham and White Oak, and we hunt 13 over there. So that's how we spread it out, because turkey hunting is kind of different than deer hunting. You're making calls and you're listening, and you don't want to be calling each other. So, sure. and we make them stationary. They can't get out and run around and put themselves in harm's way.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Every hunter has a guide. We take them out 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's really emotional to see these guys in wheelchairs and it raining sideways, and they're still there. They want to do this, so we give them that opportunity.
Wow, that's awesome to see your heart and hear about some of those stories and how y'all really making an impact there on those guys.
We want to give back, best we can.
What about your youth hunt?
We do. We've historically done youth hunts, and we brought kids from Nashville. And Great Outdoors University used to be a Wildlife Federation's program. Now we do youth hunts that they share youth hunts and teach kids how to hunt. And their parents. We have a lot of that. We have cabins over there, and everybody they stay in those cabins and get them outside, get them in the woods, get them away from the TV and the video games and the telephones, and get them outside.
Yeah. Is that part of the Hunting and Fishing Academy that the Federation does? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great program. We partner with you guys on that, and it y'all do a lot of good work there, showing people how to get outdoors, how to hunt, how to fish.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Well, I'm thinking about people, how they get here. We've talked a little bit about where it is in relation to on the property here, but how do people get to the tower? So if they don't, you can Google it, I think, now, but before then, how do you get there? How would you tell somebody to get to the tower?
Well, they go to La Follette and turn at stoplight number 9, go to the top of the mountain, and there's 2 big signs right there that we put up, and 4.5 miles up that gravel road, you're here.
Yeah, so pretty simple.
Pretty
easy.
simple.
Yeah, a couple turns off the main road there.
Pretty simple.
You're in business.
And
Pretty simple.
These guys up here, Keith and Rusty Dunn, all them, they keep the roads in pretty good shape. Get up here.
The agency has been absolutely marvelous to work with. They have done a yeoman's job of keeping the road coming in here clear and passable for cars. I mean, it's one thing for a four-wheel drive truck, but it's another for a guy in a little Mazda or something. He's putting around up here.
Yeah.
They've done a wonderful job of keeping the road in great shape. Actually, it's the best it's ever been. Shouldn't be a problem that limits you from coming here.
Awesome. Yeah. It's even coming up today, it was a little bumpy, but it's just part of it, and it was fairly easy for us to get up through here and get up here and view these things. And we even had an elk roaming around over here on the right side of the tower, and hoping he'll come back here in a little bit so we can watch him. But
Well, we're just a little early.
yeah,
They're laying underneath an autumn olive somewhere.
Hugging the shade.
yeah. So that is the prime time. Later in the evenings, early in the mornings. That's when you're gonna.
You have to remember
Gonna see
these are wild things, and they're on their clock, not yours.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear a lot of bugling this year?
Yeah,
in the rut?
Yes, we did. We've heard quite a bit of bugling. We can sit on our porch and hear them bugling in the mornings. Go out and stand in the yard, and you can hear them bugling up on the mountain.
Nice.
Well, I'm thinking back, 2009, I believe it was, the first hunt.
Yeah.
And you all opened up your place once again, being generous, and opened up your place for the first hunters to camp out and be, right here near, well, they don't hunt here. We should make that point. This is not a hunting area.
Not a big tree stand.
This is a viewing area, but to be on the properties and near their hunting areas and their hunting zones, and be able to get out there for that first year, that was pretty amazing. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, I got to experience that, which was very cool. But.
It was an awesome time, and I was, we were really humbled that the agency asked us to host that event. We there was 5 hunters. It was a big deal. It was the first time any elk had been hunted, actually, in probably 1865 or something.
Yeah, a long time.
So we had about 250 people that night of the event. We fed 825 meals in 4.5 days.
And it rained.
And it rained, and it rained, and it rained.
It was
the
wet.
rain gods did not like us. But we turned our garage into TWRA's headquarters.
Yeah.
I think Zach Wamp brought his 40-foot motorhome down through the road there, and I thought, boy, I'm going to make some money pulling that thing out.
Did he get it stuck?
No, he didn't, but I was looking for it.
Speaking of that, you've been in the ATV business before as well. Talk about that.
Well, I used to have Polaris dealerships for 10 years. So, well steeped, that's the real reason I'm in Tennessee, was because of, back in the late 70s, I used to ride a dirt bike. I used to race dirt bikes, and this is about the most beautiful place in the world. So it got me here, and
Wow.
we've been happy. We wouldn't move from here for nothing.
Where'd you move from?
Illinois, Southern Illinois,
And what year?
1980.
1980.
1980.
Wow.
That
Man.
was.
He's been here almost as long as I have. I got 1 year on you.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've only got 5. That's crazy. So, I mean, to sit here and talk with you guys and chat, it feels like you've been here all your life, and it's amazing that you fit right in.
We call this home.
Yeah.
We call this home.
Yeah.
We love it here.
So, did you have any championships? Oh, with your dirt bike race?
There weren't championships, but they're trophies in my closet, I promise you.
That's cool.
And this is a wonderful place to ride, recreationally. We're not racing facility.
No, yeah.
We're people who want to see the flora and the fauna and just get from point A to point B. It couldn't be any better than here.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't be any better. And lots of people take advantage of that. I mean, this is the best riding east of the Mississippi. And the agency does a yeoman's job at taking care of the trail system and providing us with that opportunity.
Yeah, we got some great guys that work for us. I feel like I say this every show, but I mean, just the biologists, the technicians, those guys on the properties, on the waters, they make improvements. They make things better for the hunter, for the fisherman. It's just amazing.
And they work so well together too.
Yeah.
And I've seen huge improvements throughout the years with the agency and their I&E department and getting the message out. You know, you're not here just to give them a ticket. You're here to help them enjoy the outdoors.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like, you know, the first step is education. They're out there to help educate. You know, it's only the real bad guys that get the ticket, right?
Listen, there are some bad guys out there, and they need tickets.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, and then riding safely, you know, is important up here. You know, we've had a lot of accidents.
We're going to have accidents with the amount of people,
the volume
that you're dealing with. I mean, look at, you drive your car down the road, there's accidents on the street too. So it's, you know, it's not the machine, it's a user.
Well, we talked about a little bit about the growth earlier, and I think the elk, the riding opportunities,
The water.
all are all instrumental in that growth and what makes this place great, and that's what it's here for, people to use.
And Campbell County has benefited wonderfully from it. You know, people are moving in here because they want to be here.
Yeah. Well,
you just found out about it a lot sooner than a lot of them.
I did. Yeah, I did.
1980. Huh?
wow. Is that when you all found the property that early?
No, we bought our farm in 1993, October. I guess it was this month. 1993.
Well, that's a great find, a huge find. You know, when people looking for property these days, it's hard to find sometimes, and that's
getting harder.
You're blessed to be able to acquire that.
Yeah, we sure are. We're thankful every day. Every day.
Well, we're going to about time to wrap it up. But what's anything else you want to share with the folks listening and watching? That encourage them to get out here, or something you want to make sure they know?
Well, this is a wonderful place to bring your kids to show wildlife off as it truly is. You know, the wildlife are accustomed enough to us here that they're not skittish to the point. If you stay in the tower, stay quiet. You know, bring your binoculars, bring a jacket. You know, come of an evening so that you have a high probability of viewing opportunities, and you know, get your kids outside. There's so much to do outside.
Yeah, that's one of our mottos. It's, you know, take a kid outdoors, and they'll be a hunter, a fisherman, or just a lover of nature for life. You know, get them out there, and it's one of the greatest things you can do. That's what I do with my kids. So
Absolutely.
I know Matt does the same.
Oh yeah.
We appreciate this opportunity to be with you.
Yeah. Well, we're
Likewise.
thankful for you. I mean, and what y'all have done for wildlife here in Campbell County and opportunities here at the tower. So this has been great.
Thank you.
Matt, thank you for helping line this one
Yes,
up.
sir.
Once again, we are in East Tennessee with Matt. It's just going to be exciting times for Tennessee WildCast. Remember tnwildlife.org for all things outdoors. Looking for the hunting guide, looking for the fishing guide, that's where you'll find it. If you want to buy a license, go outdoorstennessee.com to get that. And if you like this cool hat I'm wearing, or the one that Matt's got on, check out our website, shop.gooutdoorstennessee.com, and pick up some TWRA swag. This is Tennessee WildCast. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.